I'm back again today. So on our sock journey today, we are going to be talking about top-down socks, and we're going to talk about cast-ons. I know, all kinds of fun, right? All kinds of fun. So just some reminders, my name is Kelly Slack, and I've been invited to teach by Heather of Pearly Shell Fiber Arts. I'm the co-owner of Black Sheep Fiber Emporium with my partner Tina, and all of my videos are sponsored by these three people. That would be Black Sheep Fiber Emporium, Kelly Slack Designs, which is me, and Pearly Shell. So make sure that you are giving them some love and checking out all of their social media channels. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So lots of places. Hang on. Gotta grab my outline. Got a little bit windy here, which is not a bad thing. All right. Let's see. What else do I need to tell you? I have 2 master's degree in teaching. I love to teach. I don't know everything, but I do know a lot because I have made 100 pairs of socks. More than 100 pairs of socks. A lot of socks. I make a lot of socks. I have 2 self-published books. Happy Feet, which is about socks, and Froth and Foam, which is about lace. And today we are going to talk about cast-ons for top-down socks, and I would like to demonstrate a few of them as well. So there are a lot, and I do mean a lot, of top-down cast-ons, like a lot. And I have a whole series of YouTube videos that you can find on my Kelly Slack Designs YouTube channel, as well as linked off of the blacksheepfiberemporium.com page. So there's 2 places that you can find them depending on where you go. And if you just search Kelly Slack, Kelly with an I, you should find them pretty easily. And again, like I have a whole series of cast-on videos, both toe-up and top-down, whole series. And you can go slow, you can go fast, you can pause, really get some highlights on cast-ons. Because I think it's a lot of fun to try different cast-ons. And so knowing a few is not a bad thing. I started with the long-tail cast-on. That was the first one that I learned. It's not the easiest one to learn, but it is the first one that I learned. And the long-tail cast-on is great for socks. I'm going to show you how to do the long-tail cast-on here in just a little bit. Another good sock cast-on for a top-down sock is one that's called the Twisted German or Old Norwegian cast-on. I'm going to demonstrate that one as well. It's very similar to the long tail, but you twist the loop of the long tail, hence the Twisted German. And when you do that, it just gives it a little nicer, a little more decorative edge. If you do it correctly and you don't make it too tight, it can actually give you a little stretchier cast-on edge. But again, everything comes down to your tension. So if you do it tightly, it's not going to be a stretchy edge. Backwards loop is another one that a lot of people learn. That's one of the first cast-ons that a lot of people learn. Backwards loop is great, but it doesn't give you a really good foundation for a sock. It makes sort of a messy top. And granted, most of the time those socks will be hidden under your pants, so it doesn't matter. But if you care about those kinds of things, you may not like the backwards loop. The cabled on and knitted on cast-ons are both great for socks as well, because you can make them a little stretchier if you're just a little bit looser in how you use them. The Pico cast-on is a ton of fun to do. I'm not going to make it to that in our 15 minutes today, but you can always go check out my videos to see how that's done. But I love a Pico top on a sock. It's cute, especially on kids' socks. Super cute. And there's so many others. There's double start cast-ons and colorwork cast-ons, and a lot of what kind of cast-on you use will depend on what kind of sock you're making. If you're making a sock that starts with ribbing at the top like this one, or this one, then pretty much anything is going to work. If you're going to start with a sock that has more of a decorative edge, then this one actually uses a knit one through the back loop to raise the ribbing on it. You could do that as well. But it's just a regular cast-on. Actually, that's a Twisted German cast-on on that one. It's crazy that I can tell them apart now. I've knit entirely too many socks. That's all I can say about it, is I've knit entirely too many socks. When you can start telling them apart, you've knit way too many socks. Oh look, this is a hand-spun pair. Hand-spun, and this is more of like a slipper sock for me. And I just used a regular long tail cast on with this one. Looks fine, stretches fine. But you want to make sure that whatever cast on you're using, that it's stretchy enough that it's not going to bind the top of your sock. If you are a person who finds that you cast on really tightly, you may need to go up a needle size. So your gauge may say that you need a 1, but you might actually need to cast on with a 2 in order to be successful. Actually, I only need one of these for now. And if you're someone who's really loose, then you may find that you actually need a little more hug in that cast on. So you might actually need to go down a needle size or a half a needle size in order to make something comfortable. Okay, so I want to start with just the long tail cast on and talk about how to do that. I'm sure it's going to be boring for most of you because you know what a long tail cast on is. But for those of you that don't, I'm going to show you how to do a long tail cast on, and hopefully I haven't missed any comments. Oh, good. So the first thing that I always do is I always start with a slip knot, and I make a funny little slip knot because I taught myself how to make this slip knot. So this may look really odd to you, but the important thing to note is just that it's a slip knot. And you're just going to go ahead and put that on your needle. Hang on. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera around. That way we can get up close and personal. And that's my lovely deck. And my spinning wheel, because I'm participating in Spin Together, so it was hanging out here on the deck with me. All right, there we go. Yay. All right, all right. Hopefully this will work. Okay, I hope everybody can see my hands. It's not too dark. So, long tail cast on. There's 2 different ways that you can do this. You can do this with the tail over your finger, or you can do it with the ball thread over your finger. You will run out of tail faster if you use the tail thread over your thumb versus the tail thread over your finger. So that's just something to be aware of if you are worried that you're going to run out of yarn on your tail. Flip-flop the position of this so that more yarn is used off of your ball than is used off of your tail thread. So to do this, we make a triangle. So we go ahead and we lay ball thread, and I have oil on my finger from my wheel. Sorry about that. You lay your ball thread and your tail over your thumb and your finger so that you make sort of this M shape. See, I have a nice M shape. Then you're going to hold it down with the rest of your fingers. You now have a loop, okay, because you've brought together the edges of your M, the legs of your M. So you've got a loop. We're going to go under the loop. We're going to go over this inner thread coming off of the inside of our finger. We're going to drop the loop off our thumb, and we're going to pull it tight. So one more time. Go under and through the loop, over, grab this thread, through, and pull it tight. Okay. When you're doing socks, you don't want to pull it too tight here because this will make it too tight of a cast on. So you want to be a little bit softer and looser when you are casting on your stitches so that you keep a little bit more space between them. So you can see you can vary how much space is between your stitches just by being a little bit softer and looser between the second 2 than I was with the first 2. Okay, let's talk about Twisted German. So Twisted German, same idea. We set up the same way as we do for the long tail cast on, but this time we are going to twist this loop. So we got to go to the inside and then bring it back through the loop that was on our thumb and drop our thumb down because we need to twist this down out of the way. We're going to grab the yarn from the inside of our hand, pull it through that loop, fully drop the loop off, and tighten it down. And we're going to do that again. So to the inside, come back through, grab the yarn over here that is coming off the inside of our finger, pull it through that loop, and down. So I'm going to do this real fast. That way I can show you the difference between the 2. So here we go. So the first 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is our regular long tail cast on. This one here is our Twisted German cast on where we twist the base of the loop. Now the interesting thing about this kind of cast on is that it actually is the cast on itself and then a little bit of your first row. So a lot of times when I use a long tail cast on or Twisted German cast on / Old Norwegian cast on, you are going to ignore that row, and you're just going to go ahead and knit. So it'll look a little bit like you've got purl bumps on the back side of your fabric at the very start, but when it comes right down to it, it's really hard to tell that, because a lot of times you'll go right into some kind of ribbing or patterning, and we'll talk about that in the next video when we talk about cuffs and legs. Okay, what's the next one I wanted to show you? Backwards loop cast on. So let me pull all this off. Backwards loop cast on. Backwards loop cast on is really simple. It's a very easy cast on. It's one that you may have already learned. It might have been the first one that you learned. So a lot of times you start with a slip knot, and then you literally make a backwards loop over your thumb. That's kind of it. That's like the whole thing. And you can have a really short tail to start because it's a backwards loop cast on, and you pull it down. So backwards loop, and pull it down. And backwards loop, and pull it down. But what you'll notice is it can be harder to get your tension correct, and you're going to have a sloppier edge along here because you don't have that nice tidy long tail and or twisted German that's going to anchor your stitches. This one has a long tail cast on. It's anchored all of the stitches down. This one is again that backwards loop. It's going to be a sloppier cast on. It doesn't have the anchor. Let's see, what's the next one? I have time to show you another one. The knitted on cast on. Let's do the knitted on cast on. So with the knitted on cast on, you need a second needle, and you are honestly going to be knitting and pulling the knitted loop, the new knitted loop on. And there's a couple of different ways to do this, but the way that I like best, and I'll try to get under the camera a little bit better. So here's the back. Here's the knitted on cast on. And a lot of times what I do is I wrap my finger around this tail to kind of anchor it for the very first stitch. So you go in as if to knit, just like this. You pull the new stitch forward, and you put it on the needle. You go in as if to knit. Uh-oh. Got a little tangled up. It's a little bit hard for me to see around my camera. Try it one more time. There we go. Go in as if to knit, pull it forward, up and over. You can twist this loop if you want. As you go along, give it just a little different look along that edge. But that is your knitted on cast on. Okay, and then the cable cast on. One more before we go. So the cable cast on, you actually go in between your two knit stitches and bring your knit stitch forward. Go in between your two stitches, bring your knit stitch forward. And the cool thing about this one, the knitted on and the cable on, is that you can switch it so that you go back and forth, and you can like knit two and then purl two on. See how I'm using my purl? I'm bringing my purl forward between my stitches. So you can actually sort of set up your ribbing on your sock, just like that. So it's totally up to you what kind of cast on you want to use with your socks. I definitely recommend playing with different cast-ons and trying them out, because hey, that's what knitting is all about, right? Try everything, see what you like best. So I'm going to lift this up. There's my wheel again. Try to turn this around. And hey, I'm back on the camera, yay. Okay, so, and luckily I didn't miss any comments. I always worry I'm going to miss a comment and then I've missed a question, and anyway. Next time we meet, tomorrow when we meet again, we are going to talk about the cuff, and I'll talk a little bit about legs as well for top-down socks. So we're doing the top-down sock series, and then we'll do a toe-up sock series. I'm trying to make sure I cover everything as we go along here. I have, what was this? This was 5, right? Number 5. Oh, we're a third of the way through, so I have 10 more videos to do. All kinds of fun stuff ahead. There are all kinds of fun stuff ahead. And I'm trying to be as thorough as I can in 15 minutes, so I hope that I've caught all of your questions. Remember to go ahead and check out Black Sheep Fiber Emporium, Kelly Slack Designs, and Pearly Shell. Follow us if you're so inclined. As I said, I do put up teaching videos for my Black Sheep Fiber Emporium group on Mondays and Wednesdays almost every week. And then I upload all of the videos that I remember to, which is most of them, I'd say about 95% of them, to our YouTube channel as well, so you can always follow us there and catch up there. I will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to try to get a small sock cast on and get the cuff started so that we can talk about that. I'm just going to make socks for Ina. Why not? She needs more socks, right? Tiny baby socks. So until tomorrow, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourself, and I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.